Front wind 300 at 16, go 33. Runway 31 left, clear for land.
Can pilots nap, read books or watch movies in the cockpit? Whether it's reading a book, binge-watching films, everyone has their own way of passing the time on a long flight. But what about the pilots? We uncover what they get up to behind the cockpit door. It depends on the country and the situation. When there are augmented crews and a rest area on board, pilots who are off-duty can nap or read. If there are only 2 pilots, then controlled napping depends on the country. Some allow it done properly, it really helps to lessen fatigue, while such as the US prohibit it. You might think that pilots always have their steady hands at the wheel, but in reality, airmen and women normally flick on autopilot within seconds of taking off. In normal circumstances, modern computer tech on passenger planes allows for next to no human intervention, apart from during takeoff and landing. While this fact might panic some, frequent flyers need not get too jittery. Because pilots are constantly monitoring for turbulence and other safety and comfort factors during cruising. Other duties include monitoring the weather radar to gauge conditions up ahead, filling in paperwork, communicating via the radio with air traffic controllers, and altering altitudes and flight paths as instructed. So while they might not be directly hands-on, their eagle eyes are keeping track of the flight's progress. That is, unless they're catching up on the day's news or getting some shut-eye. Controlled rests, sleeping even on short-haul flights. Perhaps the most shocking liberty available to pilots is the ability to take naps in midair. Even on short-haul flights, pilots can step out from the cockpit to take a doze. But nervous flyers needn't panic, as pilots' flight rules is a highly regulated aspect of the job that is actually designed to make flights safer. Pilots have to have rest after a certain number of hours. In the US, pilots are limited to working 8 hours in a row before they legally have to take a rest. On long-haul flights, there are extra flight crew members on board to take over monitoring the flight deck when it's time for a break. Pilots have to verbally communicate that they're about to take a nap, and confirm the other pilot is awake. There are also limits on how long they can sleep, as if they fall asleep too deeply this can affect reaction times and alertness when they wake up. In-seat rest is also meant to be a last resort, instead of a replacement for proper sleep. Eating, but never the same meal. Most of us complain about plane food, so spare a thought for the airline crews, who have to eat it all the time. But pilots do get to tuck into first and business class meals. However, the pilot and co-pilot never get the same food as each other, in case one of the meals is contaminated. This is to reduce the risk of both pilots getting dangerously ill enough to not be able to command the flight.